Hi, this is Zach here with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 6th of August. Starting off with the S&P, which is trying to regroup after the rather sharp rug pull that we had last week, gapping down towards the floor of that channel there. Floor of the channel got up to 62.20. Above that, we're hoping that we'll get back to the highs, 6,400 plus. Got a mid-channel line there, which I probably could remove now, but we have managed to, or we are trying to, get a decent end of day close above the top of the gap there, which we've done it in theory on two occasions above 63, 27. Above that, looking for the peak that we had, 64.27. Overall, the rising trend channel heading towards 6,600, which I suppose this stage would be a target for next month rather than this month because of the fall that we've had to start August. And hoping that, as I said, the support here will come at the floor of the channel. Worst case is that we've got the 50-day line there, 61.48, to be tested. We haven't actually touched that since the beginning of May, which is still quite a suggests quite a stellar run. RSI at 54, so still on the right side of neutral 50, which might explain the bouncing we've had over the past couple of days, or at least the holding up from Friday's low. The next market is, as usual, the Nasdaq, and here you can see that similar picture to that of the situation at the S&P. Trying to work out exactly where the floor of the channel is, probably level with the 50-day line, 22,400, and wanting to see an end-of-day close back above that gap there, 23,200, to take us up to the top of the channel there, as high as 24,000, hopefully later this month. Moving on to the stocks, and as usual, quite a motley bunch. Here we're starting off with Ameresco, and here we've had a bull trap island reversal, a bear trap island reversal, in the sense that we had a gap down in February, and then we've had two gaps, or in fact, in theory, three gaps higher since then. Current situation is that we'd like to see the market stay above the old resistance on the way down around $23. Above that, looking for the top of the channel there from back in February, as high as $29 by the end of this month, or hopefully a little sooner. Moving along to Ametek, and here you can see that we've got this rising trend channel that's been in place since April. Top of the channel there, heading for as high as $205, $206 even. We could get that by the end of this month while we remain above the floor of the channel at 181, and at least while we're above the 200-day line, just below 180. So above 180 rather, looking for 205 by the end of August. Next on the list is another new name, and it comes in the form of AirNet. Here we've got a sharply rising formation. Well, in theory, we've got a sharply rising formation. We gapped up through resistance last week, and we've got the top of the channel there heading for $4.50. Looking for that by the end of this month, while we remain above the Monday resistance around $2.25. The next on the list is DigitalOcean, and here we have a situation where we've had a bit of a handbrake turn, but two-day island reversal there, a bear trap island reversal, which is pretty impressive. That suggests that we should be able to get higher than the top of that broadening triangle there at $36, and even as high as $42 plus by the end of this month, if we can get successive end-of-day closes above the 200-day moving average, just around the $34 mark. So we're just above that at the moment, and that could then give us a reasonable push to the upside. JFB is next, otherwise known as JFB Construction. Here we've got a rising trend channel, top of the channel there, heading for $12, and we're looking at that by the end of this month, or hopefully much sooner than that, especially while we're above resistance on the way down around the $8.60 level. A stock which may be worth following over the near future is Lemonade. See, this had some decent coverage online. Here we've got the top of the channel there, as high as $70. Looking for that by the end of next month, while we're above recent resistance at $43, helped by the bear trap rebound, unfilled gap to the upside through the rising 50-day line at $39.72. So hopefully that's enough of a trigger to get us up to $70 over the near term. Another equally good stock to look at the moment is Jyong, and here we've had you can see a series of positive candles over the course of the last couple of weeks. Top of the channel here, heading for $46, and we're looking for that while we're above the Monday resistance around $24. So hopefully a relatively straightforward move there. MBIA is next, and here another bear trap in reversal, so gapping down twice in February and then in April, and then gapping up now through recent resistance around the $5.70 level. Looking for the top of the channel there as high as $8 by the end of this month, and hoping that we'll stay above the $6 mark, which was basically resistance on the way down. Tweeted out about the next stock, Ontrak, but what was interesting here is that even though we had a bit of a fight back towards the end, we didn't manage to close above the old July support rather at $41. Hopefully, we'll get an end of day close back above that level today, and then we can head back to a scenario where we get up to $80 by the end of next month. Obviously, a fast-moving situation. The reason for the inclusion here was the sharp bullish divergence that we've had. So lower lows for August, but much higher RSI trace. So hopefully that will win through in the end. On to Origin Materials, and here looks like we've got an inverted head and shoulders type formation. Top of the broadening triangle there, up to $106, which is what we're looking for on a proper clearance of the 200-day line at around the $86 level. We've got one of the close yesterday, and also we've had two bounces of the RSI above the neutral 50 level. So hopefully we're on our way to $105 plus later this month. One of the stars of the show at the moment is Palantir, which is going from strength to strength and maybe will drive the Nasdaq 100 higher. Here we've got a top of channel target there at the top of the February channel there as high as $209, $210. We're looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the recent broken resistance around the $162 area. Above that, hopefully we will keep on going. Even if we don't keep on going, hopefully we'll have a few days at least of upside. We had a similar setup to gapping to new highs back in February, and there was a reasonable follow through. Finishing off with Tidewater, and here you can see that we have gapped up, inverted head and shoulders type formation there, the neckline around $53. Target the top of the channel as high as $79 by the end of this month, especially while we remain above the the initial 2025 resistance at $59. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.